Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, September 9th, 2017. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, for today and tomorrow we are highlighting the threat of high hains and really hot and dry conditions across the entire Great Basin. We will see hains in the 5 to 6 category across pretty much the entire Great Basin today and tomorrow with really hot and dry weather in the forecast. Also of note is this area of gusty winds that we're expecting tonight into Tuesday morning. Winds will be from the northeast, and we're looking at wind speeds into the 15 to 30 mile an hour range over this area, and kind of an unusual wind direction there with the northeasterly winds. As we move into Wednesday, we'll hang on to that hot and dry weather across the north and eastern parts of the Great Basin, while we start to see some more widespread thunderstorms develop across the western part of the Great Basin. We will see those storms spread north and east Wednesday through at least Friday. Over the past 24 hours, much of the precipitation was focused across the southern part of the Great Basin, although precipitation amounts were not too impressive. We also saw some lightning across the southern part of the area. There were 15 new fires reported across the Great Basin yesterday, with 132 ongoing fires in the area. Looking at precipitation over the past 7 days, you can see that pretty much the entire Great Basin has been below normal as far as precipitation goes. A couple areas were at or above normal, and that is mainly associated with thunderstorms that developed in the area and dropped quite a bit of heavy rain. Looking back into the 14-day period, the picture doesn't improve much. As you can see, pretty much the entire Great Basin has been below normal over the past 14 days with regards to precipitation. With that lower than normal precipitation, it should be no surprise that ERCs are generally on the rise across the area. You can see ERCs are the highest across the northern part of the Great Basin, where many stations are reporting ERCs above the 90th percentile. Live fuel moistures continue to decrease on the whole across the Great Basin, though live fuel moisture does generally remain right around normal for the time of year. Satellite this morning shows high pressure in place across the Great Basin. That is responsible for the really hot conditions that we are seeing across the area. There is a little bit of moisture trapped underneath the ridge that could bring us some isolated thunderstorms this afternoon. So today we are looking at those dry conditions, especially across the northern part of the Great Basin. Really hot everywhere, and so we are highlighting the north where the fuels are the driest for the hot and unstable conditions. Looking in a little more detail, you can see winds will mostly be light, though they could be gusty in the vicinity of any thunderstorms that do develop this afternoon. Tonight is really when we start to worry about those winds. We are looking at gusty northeasterly winds across the north and eastern portions of the Great Basin tonight into tomorrow morning. You can see there are some isolated thunderstorms in the forecast for portions of the Great Basin this afternoon, but the coverage is not expected to be too significant with those storms. Moving into Tuesday, we still keep the dry conditions across the north. We are continuing to highlight the heat across much of the northern part of the Great Basin, but you can see these wind areas that we are highlighting for the gusty winds expected Monday night into Tuesday morning. And looking at those winds in a little more detail, you can see these oranges, 25 to 30 miles an hour with northeasterly winds Monday night into Tuesday morning. We are looking at the potential again for some isolated storms across the higher terrain of central Utah and into western Utah and the Arizona Strip on Tuesday. Moving into Wednesday, we start to see moisture making its way into the western part of the Great Basin. And we are highlighting western Nevada with a concern there for some isolated dry lightning. Looking at that in a little more detail, you can see, again, western Nevada will see the storms developing tomorrow afternoon, as well as a higher terrain of central and southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. Winds will be quite a bit lighter on Wednesday. So looking at the next 3 days, nothing too significant as far as in the way of precipitation, really just whatever we see with those thunderstorms on Wednesday. As we move into Thursday, that moisture shifts north and east, and so we are highlighting the northern half of Nevada and the western half of the areas in Idaho that we cover for that threat of lightning on Thursday. That threat shifts east Thursday, as you can see that moisture moving to the east, and so on Thursday we are concerned about these red highlighted areas for the threat of some dry lightning. Finally, on Saturday, you can see that moisture moving into eastern Utah. But by this point, it looks like storms could become a little more wet, as the moisture has been around for quite a few days. And that moisture moves to the northeast on Sunday. In the 7-day period, as far as precipitation, you can see much of that is focused across Nevada and southern Utah and the Arizona Strip, with some lighter accumulations in southwestern Idaho. Again, these will be associated with thunderstorms, so these amounts and locations are not very precise. In the 8 to 14-day period, looks like we will continue to see above average temperatures across the entire Great Basin. However, there is the possibility that we will see above normal precipitation for pretty much the entire area in the 8 to 14-day period. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thanks.